During the swim, sometimes what happens is athletes, they do have difficulty during the swim. Example, they can get cramps, they can have panic attack. So in the case that if that happens, so for the full IRONMAN Langkawi, the distance is 3.8 km swim, bike 180 km and run 42 km marathon. So the cutoff time for the IRONMAN Langkawi for the swim is 2 hours 20 minutes from the swim start, right? So after you start the swim, the time will run and then it's 2 hours 20 minutes. For the bike is 10 hours 30 minutes from the start of the swim. And then for the run is 17 hours from the start of the swim. All right, that's how they calculate from the start of the swim. For the swim course, it will be located at the Danas Beach at Pantai Kok. That area of the swim is generally quite calm because it's sheltered, right? There's islands around it. So for the full Ironman, they will be swimming for 2 loops of 1.9 kilometers per loop. For the bike course, it is 180 kilometers. They will be doing 2 loops for the full Ironman. IRONMAN Langkawi has been very famous because of the elevation, right? There's quite a lot of serious climbs. We call it the Three Sisters and the Mother-in-Law Hill. So and then they had to do that twice. So it's pretty serious climbs. And then for the run course, we'll be running around the airport for about 2.5 loops, 16 kilometers per loop. That will be a flat course, but it can get very hot during the afternoon time. Especially for long distance racing, the nutrition plays a very critical role, whether you can finish or race well or even a DNF. For this race, for the nutrition, I will highly recommend you try to take more calories during the bike leg and try to take in more liquid as well. In the meantime, also you need to take in more of the salt tablet because you're losing so much sweat and then you need to replace your sodiums. At the aid station, it'll be very well equipped because this is an Ironman race, so they're providing Gatorade, gels, bananas. So grab those to assist you during the bike leg. And then on the run leg, normally very hot. Run course, again, Ironman is providing a lot of support in terms of nutrition. They're providing Coke, Gatorade, gels, bananas, watermelons. Have your own race strategy. Generally for the run course, I would recommend to go more of a liquid strategy. That means taking more liquid as your calories, and on the bike, more stable, especially on our stomach. So we can take in actually more calories in terms of having solids as well, like having a bar or banana. Everybody should have their own nutrition strategy. Generally, I would recommend for a bigger athlete, somewhere around 300 calories per hour. Again, you have to try for it. Some of the athletes who train very well, they can even consume up to 400 calories per hour on the bike leg. And for maybe females who are smaller size, then they can take somewhere maybe around 200, 250 calories per hour. This is per hour, so if you want to do the calculation, then you need to calculate how many gels or how many energy drinks you should consume. Example, right, for every gel, there's about 100 calories. So let's say your strategy is to take 300 calories per hour, that means you should take equivalent of 3 gels per hour. So not necessarily you must take only gels because after a while, it starts to get a bit queasy, a bit difficult for you to take in. So as long as you're getting the 300 calories, you can take in from either bananas, bars, from energy drinks, from different size of calories. But try to mix it up, but have your own strategy and have it tested out before the race. Before the race start, I would recommend you to have a breakfast 2 to 3 hours before. Try to have what you normally would have eaten before your training session. Don't try out anything new. Try to have more calories in through carbohydrates. As you go towards the race start, you can constantly sip some water and some energy drink. And some people, what they do is like 15 minutes before the race, they will just take 1 gel with some water just to boost up their energy level. Don't try out anything new. Just take what you're used to, and then be prepared, because if you go to IRONMAN Langkawi, they might not have what you wanted to eat, what you're normally used to eat. So bring along your own nutrition for breakfast as well. Essentials that they must have, of course, you must have the goggles, and then the swim cap will be provided by IRONMAN depending on the time, the predicted swim time. So they give you different color of swim caps depending on what is your predicted finish swim time. You must have the timing chip on your left ankle. That is a must. And then the number tattoo will be on your right arm, and then they have like a category tattoo on your right calf. Okay, so that you must have that before you go into the swim. So on the bike, of course, you need a bicycle, you need the helmet, you need the bike shoes. On the bike, of course, you need your nutrition, whatever that you want to consume. So those are the ones on the bike. And on the run, you must have your run shoes, and then you must have the race bib as well. So you don't have to wear the race bib during the bike, but you must have it on the run. And the race bib must be at the front of your torso during the run. Again, you have to carry your nutrition as well. I recommend you wear a visor also because expected to be very hot on on the run. During the swim, sometimes what happens is athletes, they do have difficulty during the swim. Example, they can get cramps, they can have panic attack. So in the case that if that happens, you can actually grab onto the pontoons or the buoys that is around there. As long as there's no forward movement, it's actually okay. They even have safety kayak. You can actually grab onto the safety kayak to calm yourself down, focus on your breathing. As long as you don't have a forward movement, it's actually not a disqualification. You can just hold on, calm yourself down, focus on the breathing, and then you can continue your race, and that is okay. The three biggest causes of DNF, first is the training. So if you haven't been training much, of course you don't have the fitness, you don't have the endurance, then that is of course one of the biggest reasons to DNF. Second is pacing. So pacing is in our control on race day. Learning to hold back, because the race is very long. You have to hold back. Most athletes, the error is that they start out too fast because they're too excited and they're inexperienced, or sometimes they want to beat their friend. So they push over what they've been training for. And this is not an Olympic or sprint race, it's full Ironman. So it's gonna take a very long period of time to finish. So they have to learn to hold back and follow their game plan instead of trying to compete with other people. And then the last one is actually nutrition. They are not taking sufficient nutrition. They're not taking in enough calories. Example, the last portion is the run. But if you didn't take enough nutrition on the bike, you wouldn't have enough gas for the run. So again, it's all related. You have to take sufficient calories on the bike, taking in enough salt, and then for the run, then you'll be okay. Generally on the run, you can't take as much nutrition because it's just the stomach is just churning, right? It's just running up and down. So that one is more on liquid. But the key is on the bike, you have to take a lot of calories on the bike. For mental preparation, what they can do is, especially if you are a race day, you can actually do some visualization. From now to the race day, you can mentally visualize what are you gonna do, how is the course like, how you're gonna pace yourself. So it's like visualization, and then you can imagine yourself is gonna be there. During races, there's a lot of time where you will really struggle. So you can use an anchoring technique. Anchoring means you anchor your mental memory to what you have done before that. Example, that during the bike in Langkawi, you're really struggling, right? But you anchor back to your training where you have actually managed to do this 180 km before, so you know you can do it. So you can anchor your experience and your strength to the situation. So drawing strength from your previous past experience, it will help. Just be mentally prepared to suffer on the race day, because it's a very long race. As long as you don't stop, you keep going, eventually a lot of time is that the situation of an athlete is there's always ebbs and flows. They will have very hard time, but you keep going, then you find that it actually gets better, and then you can go proceed again.